Welcome back. It's time for Media Watch, our look at the top stories in the French press today. Olivia Salazar-Winspear has the lowdown. Good evening.
Hi.
We start with an update on the French presidential campaign, and now First Lady Carla Bruni-Sarkozy has joined the fray.
Yeah, that's right. This week, all the focus has been on the presidential candidates' other halves. Yesterday, we saw Valérie Trierweiler, François Hollande's partner, on the front of Paris Match. Today, we've got Carla Bruni-Sarkozy, who's given a televised interview saying that she thinks her husband works so hard, she's worried for his health, and she thinks it could run him into an early grave. So let's hear from her.
He has a sense of duty that he brings home with him in the evening after work. He never stops, never turns off. He's always working. He works 20 hours a day, so I was scared that he was going to die. Really, he's overdoing it.
Very dramatic. What were her reactions like?
Well, I think she's half joking. You can see her giggle when she says it, but she's really trying to hammer home, how hard he's working to be re-elected and how hard he's working at his job. She also said that she feels there's a lack of support in the press for Sarkozy, that there's a real lack of right-wing or even neutral journalists who are covering the campaign. Which is a bit of
this is interesting, coming from Carla Bruni-Sarkozy, who was a well-known left-wing figure before she became First Lady.
Exactly. And well, as we know, she's a recent First Lady, and I was about to say, she's really more visible recently. She kept a very low profile when they first married. He was freshly elected, freshly divorced as well. But she's been appearing more and more and taking on this role of First Lady, giving more interviews. When I saw this, I thought, okay, we're in campaign season. She's giving her support to her husband and a candidate. Because, as we know, in the US, for example, a First Lady can really make or break someone's election campaign. But this poll that I've just seen in Elle magazine in France, for example, says that actually 76% of French voters don't care about the partner of the future president. So she doesn't really need to watch what she says so much. It's not so much of a big role.
That's interesting,
here.
And it's true the First Lady isn't quite as much of a public figure here as she is in the States. We're staying with those French presidential candidates. We've got a Belgian take on the race today.
Yeah, this is a story that came out in Le Soir, the Belgian paper. A correspondent for the paper, Charline von Honecker, says she's been quite shocked by the coverage of her French colleagues, which she feels is a little bit one-sided. This is the article in question. We see that the headline says, these journalists who already see themselves at the Élysée Palace, where the French president works. She says that she's heard them in the pool saying things like, of course, the pool is the press corps who travel with them all the time on official visits and get, quite integrated into this political bubble. She's heard them say things like, we're really excited about travelling on Air Hollande 1, or we are already looking forward to meeting you at your office in the Élysée Palace.
So she's really underscoring there the very cozy relationship, that's what she's announcing, between a part of the press and these candidates.
Absolutely, and this almost reiterates what Carla Bruni-Sarkozy says, which there's a certain section of the press that sees Hollande already in office, which is funny because this is a similar scenario to what we saw in 2007. I've got a photograph here of Nicolas Sarkozy surrounded by journalists like some kind of guru, because the press were really enthralled to him at the time, and not so much his rival Ségolène Royal.
Next, Twitter can become something of an addiction for a lot of reporters, for a lot of activists, for a lot of people. We all know some people who tweet 24/7. Now, one person, they're tweeting even at the detention center.
Yeah, absolutely. This story was flagged up by Le Monde and Le Parisien, a young man who was tweeting directly from an illegal immigration detention center, which I was completely shocked when I read this. Like, how is it possible? You can't have your phone on you. But he was allowed access to his phone for 2 hours a day, and so used that to tweet. He's a student. His name's Gilles Jourou, originally from Gabon. I think we've got a photo of him here in the article flagging up the story. His papers weren't in order. He's originally from Gabon. He was arrested and sent to this detention centre, and he tweeted on the conditions. We can see that his first tweet that he sent out says they're quite positive. He says that it's an almost new centre, the facilities are Spartan but comfortable. I have 3 meals a day, 2 people to every room, there's a clinic, machines distributing cigarettes, chocolate, drinks, etc.
A real detailed account. It's incredible.
It's like a journalistic account from a detention centre. It's really quite interesting. He then goes on to say that the lady from CIMAD, which is a Christian charity, has lent me her computer. I thank her. And he says they do a wonderful job here. It's a really positive review. He talks about the conditions they have: entertainment, television, a football table. And since this story broke, his followers went from 30 to over 1,000. And he believes that maybe the media attention might have helped him get released.
Well, it certainly won't help his Twitter addiction, I feel.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I'd be logging onto his account to see what he has to say. Olivia Salazar-Winspear, thank you for being with us. That was Media Watch France on France 24. And next, it's time to take a look at the top internet content of this week. Syria's First Lady Asma al-Assad generated a lot of traffic with her interview on CNN. Plus, Israel's President Shimon Peres wants you to add him on Facebook. It's all in Web News. Take a look.